Hello there and welcome to Glass with a Class. I'm June Anderson and I'm so glad you've chosen to join me in looking at some pretty depression glass today. This time we're going to look at how the Federal Glass Company had to redesign one of its patterns over a legal issue. You may remember in our last episode, which is number 38 if you want to go back and look at it, that we looked at Mayfair by the Hocking Glass Company. Its name is Open Rose. We saw the pink candy dish in that pattern last episode, and here it is again, except that I'm not wearing a pink shirt and you can actually see the pattern. We said that the Federal Glass Company had made a Mayfair also, and this is it. This is the creamer in the amber color. We also said that Federal had to redesign their Mayfair because Hocking had patented it first. So here's Hocking's Mayfair, and here's Federal's Wayfair. Federal only got to make theirs in 1 year, 1934, before they got zonked with the patent problem. So if you go back and look at episodes number 31 and 32, you'll see more about Mayfair and the one we're looking at today, Rosemary, or Dutch Rose is its nickname. This is how Federal redesigned their Mayfair. This was Mayfair that they had to redesign, and here's a Dutch Rose, or Rosemary. You may remember seeing the videos of these two. They're numbers 31 and 32, if you want to go back and see them. Well, I wanted to show them to you together today so that you can see the differences. This is Hocking's Mayfair, or Open Rose, and you can see the Open Rose here. This is Federal's Mayfair, which had to be redesigned and became Rosemary, or Dutch Rose. See how Federal's Rosemary looks a lot like Federal's Mayfair? They removed a lot of the intricate detail from Mayfair to make Rosemary. They're all beautiful, but we do have to keep our legal issues straight now, don't we? Hocking's Mayfair, or Open Rose, was made from 1931 to 1937. Federal's Mayfair was only made in 1934. And Federal's Rosemary, or Dutch Rose, was made from 1935 to 1937. I hope I haven't made this as clear as mud. If I have, just go to YouTube and search for June Anderson, Glass with a Class, and look for videos number 31, 32, and 38. And that should help clear up the info if I've thoroughly confused you. Whatever the problems may have been, these are three gorgeous patterns that are all still collectible today. You know these companies never thought their cheap but lovely products would be collectible decades after they stopped making them. Well, who's ready for a little talk about the English language? Oh, I see all those hands. Today we're talking about the pronunciation of the word often. I've heard it pronounced often, and I've heard it pronounced often. Which one is correct, though? This is pretty easy, I guess. If you do a search for how to pronounce often, you'll come up with, they're both correct. I think it has to do with the speaker. If you want to say often, say it. If you want to say often, say it. There are explanations going back to the 1500s as to whether you pronounce the T or not. Some pronounced the T and some didn't. It's just however you want to say it. By the way, that T is called a medial T. And for me, if I look at some other words with the medial T, it reinforces my way of saying often. I say often. Other words with the medial T are listen, hasten, glisten, soften, and fasten. I can't think of a single person who pronounces the T in these words. Otherwise, we'd be hearing listen, hasten, or hasten, glisten, soften, and fasten. I don't know about you, but that would drive me nuts. I found the word often in the Bible in the Old Testament book of 2 Kings chapter 4, verse 9. Then she said to her husband, I know that the only one I know that the one that often passes by here is a holy man of God. And I found it in the New Testament book of Luke, chapter 5, verse 16. Yet he often withdrew to deserted places and prayed. This is talking about Jesus and his desire to go to secluded places to talk to the Father alone. Well, that's it for this episode of Glass with the Class. I surely hope you enjoyed it and will join us next time when we'll talk glass again. God bless you and yours. See you next time. Bye-bye.